Right, hello everyone. Welcome to Arkilly stream, Arkilly9505. We're here for something little different tonight. It's the usual sort of format of racing, short qualifying 36 laps, which is a 50% race in the Netherlands. Hi Matthew, thanks for joining, buddy. But it's a different league to usual. So the usual league that I stream on a Tuesday night isn't racing tonight due to Valentine's Day. I know I did say on my last stream that they were. I just completely forgot, to be honest. That's part of being single. Um, Other than that, I am with. So we're going to be seeing TTM. Um, I can't imagine many people in the F1 world that may watch haven't heard of the league TTM. It's a pretty big league, so and we're going to be seeing the Tier 3 race. Let's say at Zandvoort. This is my fourth race in a row doing commentary at Zandvoort. Friday night, two on Sunday, and now tonight, fourth in a row. Gotta love it. It could rain, it could stay dry, it could do anything. Just don't know it's Zandvoort. It's whatever it does, we'll talk you through it and get on. What we can. Okay, I've shared the stream around a few leagues. Just one thing doing a new league is I'm not, of course, sure what the sort of paces are of all the drivers. So now I do know a couple of the drivers from elsewhere. So I know Pivot, and he's not in yet, but I know Sternface, and I know Puffby as well. Neither of which are in yet, but should be on their way, I guess. So I've got an idea of their paces. I also think I may have snuck a sneaky peek to be able to find out that maybe ACX 73, who kindly invited me, by the way, to the lobby. So thank you, ACX. May be one of the ones to look out for. But, obviously, we'll find out as we go. It's my format, guys. Generally, I'm not actually sure on the league, but generally we'll do the qualifying. I'll do a hilly hot lap at some point with one of the drivers. Um, I'll decide at the time. I haven't got anybody sort of marked out as the person I'm going to do it with, but we'll do a hilly hot lap, which is basically talking you around the lap of the track. While they do a qualifying lap, and then I'll take a very quick break while I just refill my coffee, and I'll be back for the race. Obviously, as in TTM for the league, I'm not sure what they do in terms of a break after quali or whether they're straight into it or not. But I'll just nip off quickly to do that. So we're just waiting for the last few drivers. I think it is 8 o'clock now, but I think we've just got a few more to join yet. So I was just checking the chat in the Discord, and there's a couple of people having issues by the looks of it. Always happens when you're just coming up to a race, doesn't it? Have you ever noticed that? It's always when you're just coming up to a race that your internet goes, or or the more common one, EA servers start playing up, or Xbox Live drops out. It's always when there's a race. It doesn't happen through the day if you play through the day or anything like that, and then maybe doing a bit of practice or on other games or whatever. Nothing ever goes wrong. As soon as you get to the race time on F122, that's it. Wi-Fi's playing up. EA servers are having a meltdown. Right, so here we go then. So short quality Netherlands, what's the weather going to be? That's what we got to look at. Yeah, long race if it's a wet race. It's a long race in a dry. Then actually, if it's a good race, then it tends to fly by because it is a short lap here at Zandvoort. Also, the features of Zandvoort. The biggest feature, I guess, is the banking on some of the corners. Um, but other features are very risky curbs. Got to be careful across the curbs here. Several curbs, well, I call them curbs of death, and because they will spin you if you touch them. So you've got to be a bit careful. But all in all, it is a good track. Because of the nature of the track, you don't generally expect much overtaking here, but actually, from recent experiences of doing commentary around here, that couldn't be further from the truth. There seems to be plenty of overtaking here. Most of it is down into turn 1, but you can end up with some really good racing because down into turn 1 there's a great chance of defending there as well, so it does lend quite often to some really good racing. Right, so we are starting to get on track. Who's first out then? It's the rough 66. So right, let me just take my phone off of the Wi-Fi because it will make it all laggy and stuff. So stick it onto my data instead. There we go. So say rough out first then in the Aston Martin. We'll see. I mean, as I said, I really don't know the pace of the drivers, guys, not really, so it's going to be new to me as to who to expect at the front and what sort of times to expect, really. I can give you ideas of races I've done recently. I mean, on Sunday, one of the races I did, the pole time was 1:10.3. But on the other race I did, it was 1:10.9, I think it was. And on Friday, I think it was a 1:10.7 or something like that. So pulled regularly in the 1:10s. We'll have to see. Say, I don't know what the pace of these guys are, so we'll find out. So one thing I've experienced from doing comms and racing, it doesn't really matter the pace of the drivers. All that matters is that they're close together. They don't, as long as you haven't got one guy that's capable of lapping in a 109 and then the rest of the field's doing 111s and 112s, 113s or whatever. If they're all pretty close together, the race can be just as good, no matter what the pace is. So that's what we're hoping for. I know Puffy is still trying to get in. He's having to reset his Puff B, so he'll be in soon. Pivot's retired out then, so maybe that's a decision to start from the back. At the moment we've just got the 12 drivers, we're expecting Puff B to join, so that would bring us up to 13. But we've got our first laps going in, so Stolen Milk 1:12.0, rough that we watched was 1:12.2. We've got another Aston, is it? Yeah, I think, yeah, Tommy is just on his way round the final corner. And he has line, it's going to be tight, I think. Yeah, 1:11.7. So times are good so far. McLaren on its way round, but he's into the pits. That is Jordan James Baker. A name I can actually say for once. Steering on an out lap. So let's go to. Oh, there we go. Shack 8. Is that Shark 8? Shark Bait? I don't know. Anyway, it's a 1:12.3 from Shark B. Shark B. I really don't know. Ned Stark has just done a 1:12.6. Let's go to the Ferrari that's on its way, which is GB292. And he manages to go P3, so that's Ferrari 2 and 3 at the moment on a 1:12.1. Here is Sunny Lee, I think, or Sun Lee. So, just coming round the final corner. And goes into P7, 1:13.1. And then Stern is slow. Oh, Stern's lost his wing. There, Stern wingless at the moment on the front, but he'd take his time getting himself round. No rush. But, other than that, I think the guys on track have all done their laps now. There's a McLaren on an outlap. So I think that's who we'll do the Hilly Hot Lap with then. So that's Jordan James Baker. So let's go to them, because I don't think, as I say, I don't think anybody else is on the lap. Puff B has got in, so that's good news. We're up to 13. So, just going into the penultimate corner, so we'll go to the in-car camera. Around the final corner, you pick up DRS immediately. Get over to the left, and it's quite a late break in, late apex into turn 1. Yeah, you don't really want to use the inside curve there, it's a bit dodgy. Get a good exit, take yourself through 2 and 3 and down into the heavy banking turn 4. Really interesting how they built the track to include that. And head up what's effectively a straight with a few little nooks and crannies, and we go sort of really fast right-hander, usually taking in 6th or 7th. Oh, James, I hope that's not me putting him off, Jordan. But we'll pick up with the next car that comes across then, so that's Marty T. Bear by the looks of it. Comes, just coming up to the same corner now. It's just say sit for 7th through here, just ease off slightly, and then back on the power, set yourself up into this reasonably blind sort of, it's not really blind, but it's kind of semi-blind. Then a late apex right-hander again, usually down to 4th, into the late apex left. And the reason for the late apex is on these corners because it helps you to get on to the power quicker on the exit. Open up the DRS, come down to the chicane. Pretty much skip the first part, although he's actually invalidated there, but you do pretty much skip it. Set the line up properly, you just go straight across the curb and into the second part of the chicane. Then this would be your penultimate corner, is a bit blind, but again, don't touch the inside curb. And the final corner is just flat out, unless it's wet, of course, and then it would be a bit different, and that would be a lap of Zandvoort. Hey Sarah, thanks for joining, mate, and Whoopi, thank you for joining. Yeah, as much as I would love to, mate, it being a league race, you'd have to be in the league, unfortunately. Let's stick with Marty T. Bear, because he's giving it another go here. Obviously, hasn't got time on the board yet to oh no, that's another invalidation. So let's go then to Puffy, our latecomer. I'm always worried that Puffy's fallen asleep, actually. He's always so tired. Yeah, absolutely, Whoopi. Our usual league's not on tonight, but it's a shame. But it's a long season though I don't know why I'm worried in WAOF1 because it's my Twitch. It's trying to avoid saying league names. Yeah, it's a long season, so you can understand a break when we get a chance to have one, really. 13-7 for Puffy on his first attempt. Let's go up. Oh, we're spinning round with Ruff. So Ferrari comes round. Ferrari looked like it was motoring a little bit, so let's see how GB is getting on. Yeah, I think they do the full calendar, don't they? I think so, in a way. Although well, yeah. I think that's the way the league's designed, pretty much, to be able to have 2 seasons per game, sort of thing. But we'll see how we go with that. As my favourite one, I can't say his name, Shark. I don't know whether it's Shark or Shaq or... Well, P, what is it? Is it Shark B? 5, actually, but improvements time-wise. Oh, there's my first dropping out of connection. I knew it would happen. Absolutely knew it would happen. Pain. There are plenty of players remaining. Don't worry about getting me back in Zero. I should be able to join off of ACX. It's not a problem. I added him myself as well. There he is. It's handy actually having somebody with that name being the one you need to join off. Or it would be if you could join off them. Second. There we go. Excellent. Yeah. That's what I was looking at, Whoopi, is how to say his name. I think it's Shark B. Go. Join. Little tip to any streamers out there, if you do get kicks and you could rejoin, particularly in qualifying, make sure you press Y and not A, because you'll end up with a car otherwise for the race. So, here we go. Okay, we've got a few retirements have happened actually, so let's catch up with those. So yeah, so Stoneface has retired out. Pivot we already knew, but Sunley has been disqualified. I do know there's a little glitch on this track on pit entry. In fact, Sarah, if my memory serves me right, I think you got... was it you? I know somebody in another league got in trouble with the pit entry here. Something in the back of your mind saying it was you. So, yes. There's Jordan James Baker then. He's just coming round towards the end of Sector 2, and he was quarter of a second up in Sector 1. Has it got a proper time on the board? As yet. But it's coming up to the penultimate corner now. Said don't touch the inside curb. Even the outside can be a bit dodgy sometimes, but you've got to kind of use that. And here he comes then. So gets a proper time on the board this time, 1:13.2, and that is for P9. Moves ahead of Puff P. So, that rough on yeah, he is on the lap. He's 10th up through Sector 1. Oh! I thought you'd run off track then, but no, it was lagging on my screen. Why is suddenly internet trouble? Here he comes in a way, add onto the straight. So the other DR, the second DR straight that will take you up to the end of Sector 2, and about a tenth and a half up. That at the moment would move him into P6, but he's only 3 thousandths off of ACX. So the slightest little improvement here would see him move up at least a couple of places. And well, didn't get that improvement, but still had enough to move into P6 ahead of Marty T. Bear. And there's a McLaren on its way, so that's Jordan. James Baker again, JJB. And he's into the pits. Down. Is he on a hot lap? Nope. No, I don't think anybody's on a hot lap. Oh, yeah, no, Ned Stark's just come across the line, so should be on a lap now. Nicely done through the first sector. That's the end of said sector now. And we'll hit the fast right-hander. Let's yeah, slightly up in sector 1. Yeah, I mean all the sectors around here are reasonably short, so they're very similar in length, but obviously it's a short lap. So each sector is pretty similar. I've been kicked again. Oh my goodness, it's not going to be one of those nights, is it? Trying to do comms for a league for the first time, and I'm going to have an absolute nightmare by the looks of it. I don't know, because just having a quick check of my internet's absolutely fine, so I don't know why we're having issues. I'll stick with it in a way. Obviously the race is the main thing. Hopefully we'll be okay in a race. Right then, so right, so won't take long to get back in. Hopefully we'll get there just before the end of qualifying. Nothing has really changed. We got lots of people on outlaps. Don't know if they're all going to make the line. Here's the first one that will be across. He's JJB, so let's go with him and I'll try and work us down. I think Marty is the car behind. Once you have a camera, generally better for qualifying. Very careful but very clean through the first sector. He's down slightly on time. It's a disaster, yeah, he can still make that up perhaps. As Tommy B goes fastest. Okay, sorry, I didn't realise anybody else was on lap. So Tommy B goes fastest, 1:11.2. I think JJB is going to improve, so let's go to Marty T. Bear. He's a couple of attempts down. Sector 2, and actually he's backed out the lap there, so Aston Martin. Oh no, let's go to the Ferrari then. No, he's not improving. Who's the Aston Martin then? It's the rough. Can anybody take it off of Tommy? And, well, it doesn't quite improve on that lap, the rough. He'd already done a lap on those stars, though, so he had a good attempt, but not quite this time round, as into the pits then, and that is the end of qualifying. soon as GB and Marty are pushed into the garages, that will be the end of qualifying. So it's congratulations to Tommy B, who takes pole position with 1:11.2. Shark B 1:11.4, and then we dropped to 1:11.9 for Stolen Milk and GB. But look how close the two Ferraris are. They're also very close with Ned Stark as well. I'll just finish the countdown after that. Once the screen comes up. So here we are. So Ned Stark in P5 for Alfa Romeo, ACX P6 for Merck, the Rough in P7, Marty T. Bear in P8, JJB or Jordan James Baker in the McLaren P9, Puff P in 10, Stern Pivot and Sunley didn't set a time, so they are 11, 12 and 13. And there we have it. I'll just it's the race director, just quickly bring up all the incidents on the one screen there. Nothing particularly sort of special. We can see there the block in the pit lane was the reason for the DSQ for Sunley. The slight problem here with that is if you spin out the final corner, it has to be a pretty wild spin, but if you spin out the final corner, you can end up in the way of the pit entry, and the game will disqualify you for it, which is very cruel, but it does happen. Evening, Papa. Hope you're well. Are you here to support Sternface? I just noticed he's just tagged me in Discord. Stern. It's Sternface and Pivot. So we've got a few of the ERC boys in there. But thanks for joining. You've caught me right on the bit where Quali's finished though. So as you know, I'll be going to do my 2 taps now and making myself a quick coffee. So I'll be back in just a moment, guys. Sternface left the session apparently. He needs to get back in. See you in a moment. Right, yeah, hello. Yes, Papa. So, yeah, thanks for joining in anyway, bud. But, yeah, what a bonus to find Stern and Pivot here as well. And I don't think they're the young ones. I think there's more ERC, but they're different tiers, though. This is tier 3. And I did notice that Stern has tagged me on the Discord, so I'm just going to see what it is he's saying. Oh, he just says, oh Jesus, okay. Tagged some here as well. Okay, I think we're going ahead, but I think there has been a mistake made on the settings for the lobby. So I think the safety car's been left on standard rather than being reduced. Um, but we're going to go ahead. Puffy says, let's make a good safety car show, really. No. Good racing, Puffy. If you cause a safety car, Puffy, I'm going to give you a penalty in arc, just so you know. I have power there. So, shouldn't be long, guys. I'm guessing we're going to get going around about the half-past mark. So, to be fair, Zandvoort, you would really usually be expecting one or two safety cars around here, to be fair to the guys, but it's they haven't been too bad recently, but then they've been on, well, yeah, the recent races I've done have been on reduced, you see, so hopefully it doesn't affect it too much. Maybe the fact that we just got the 13 drivers might help as well, because the other two races I've done have been full grid, so or one was 19 and one 20, but yeah, so hopefully that might help a bit as well. It's the curbs. It's not usually that people crash with each other here. It's the curbs that spin people. That's the problem. So away we go on the formation lap, and we can take a quick look at the tyres. So vast majority of the field going with mediums first. So it's probably easier for me to just tell you who isn't, and that is the rough in P7 is on the hards, and Sunley at the back is on the hards. Worth a shout for Sunley, to be fair, starting from the back. Might as well use the hard tyre first and see if going deep into the race may help. Hey Shaz, you'd think not, wouldn't you? You don't find me on F1, you find me on, at the moment, Age of Empires is the other one I'm playing at the moment. But to be fair, Shaz, you saw me earlier on looking for a race or something. I then spoke to Sarah and he said, oh, we got a race tonight, we need comms for us. So I was like, yeah, okay, that'll do. Needed something to do. But as always, Shaz, thank you very much for joining. Gives all us singletons something to do tonight, in a way. Not that I'm saying you're single, I don't know whether you're single or not, I'm just saying, you know, I am. Gives me and my fellow singletons something to do. When everybody else is all loved up, enjoying life. My dad just said something then. Hang on a second. What was that? I don't mind being stuck here with my old dad. It's cheaper than taking a date out for a meal. So, just coming back round then. In terms of amount of laps, I think the game suggests something. I think it's something like 15 on the mediums, 21 on the hards. Or you know, within that sort of range. Sorry, it's a terrible view. Let's get to on board with a Ferrari as Ferrari teammate Stolen Milk gets a really good launch, and it's going to be battling into turn one by the looks of things. Oh, the turbo Ferrari is so close to contact there. GB actually had to pull out. Oh no, we've lost two drivers immediately. Oh, that's not good. GB and Ned Stark. Oh, and another one as well, Jordan. James Baker is gone as well. Stolen Milk's been given a penalty for a severe collision with JJB. And I'm just double checking, it is a full safety car. I think it needs to be because there's cars and debris all over the track. Wow. Okay. Oh dear, I've just been kicked again. Well, at least it's on a safety car. Do I prefer commentating or racing? It's a really good question, and I like having a, a balance of both. So at the moment, I race 4 races a week, and I commentate 5. Um, Although one of the commentaries is a kids league, which I do, um, which is literally like half an hour, so if we can count that. But if I was to look to do more, it would be more commentary rather than racing. But that's not to say that I'd prefer commentary over racing. It's just I don't need to practice for commentary. I just turn up and do it. I need to practice for the races. Especially my age, you can't just turn up and be good at my age. You got to put the effort in. Sorry, guys, I'm sorry to get back in. It looks like it's going to be one of those nights, doesn't it? I'm going to get kicked, kicked, and kicked. I hope it isn't. I don't know why. Internet's fine. I've not got any other devices connected to it, so I can only think that this is more a server issue than it is mine. So, yeah, any drivers listening may be involved in all that. Remember, clip and report. Don't shout in the Discord. For JJB, it was it's the Friday that's also out, but it wasn't. He was avoiding something else from happening, so it's a bit difficult, mate. He was avoiding contact elsewhere, and then that's culminated in a crash. Oh, I'm not sure it was that. No, I might be telling you wrong there. But anyway, I don't want to get involved anyway. Not my business. Fancy commentating on a Wednesday night. I already raced Wednesday night, Sheds. Well, I race at 8 PM on a Wednesday night, and it's a full quali 50% race, so usually done around about 10 o'clock. So, I mean, if it's at another time, but that's when most races tend to be. If it's either, if it was 6 o'clock or 10 o'clock, then I could do it. I'm guessing you're talking about FGR, are you? So I'm back. I'm just going to make sure yeah, I'm still in a party. Just want to check that. So every... Not all the time, as you can see, but sometimes when you end up getting kicked from lobbies, it sometimes takes you out of a party, or the party encounters an error. It's just worth having a little look. So, in a way, after the start and the chaos, it is what it is, unfortunately. These things happen, it's part of racing, it's happened to all of us at some point. Shark B leads, he's up 1 place, Tommy B down 1 place in P2. ACX up 3, running in 3rd, the Rough in 4th, also up 3. Up 6 places at the start is Sternface in P5, Puffy's up 4, Sun Lee is up 6, Pivot up 4 as well, and Marty T Bear and Stolen Milk have both lost. Marty T Bear's lost 1, Stolen Milk's lost 7, and of course we have lost the 3 drivers. Aston Martin holding up the... quite a lot there. Like the Alpine, quite a bit of space here. So, fortunately for the Alpine driver, safety car was way too far short of the pit lane to be able to take advantage of that. So, he's having to wait still on board. Away we go. ACX launches quite early there in anticipation and catches Tommy B, but Tommy B clearly using ERS, and that was the Rough coming through as well. So ACX actually got a great launch on the safety car restart, but actually ended up almost losing a position ridiculously. But does stay P3 anyway. Shark B looks to take advantage of the restart. Always the advantage, of course, being the lead driver on a restart. Ultimately, the only driver that knows when you're going to go, so just try and take as much advantage as you can. Everybody at the moment within 1 second still. A little bit of a battle going on down here. There's a Sternface, Puffy, and Sunlee. And Pivot is just behind in the red, but well, they're all just behind. So is Puffy going to get a run here on Stern? It's difficult before DRS is active, but he has got a really good run. He must be running a much lower downforce than Sternface is. It is obviously a track where high downforce is beneficial, but running a lower downforce seems to be a really popular thing at the moment on most tracks. It's apart from Monaco pretty much and Singapore, and that is really because obviously the higher the downforce you run, the more difficult it is to overtake in a straight line. So it seems to be that people are setting up that way, but it makes it a lot easier to run a race if you're running a higher downforce. So particularly at a track like this. So Stern is absolutely still battling. I'm just quite interested to see if Sunlee gets the same sort of movement on Stern that Puffy did. Here they come through the penultimate and now final corner. Slightly different animals sometimes in the early parts of the race, some of these corners. Final corner, very much a flat out corner. As you can see now, Sunlee doesn't get the sort of run that Puffy did, so either Puffy is running extremely low wings, or he just got a really exceptional exit. At the moment, Sternface is doing everything he can. Oh, that's pivot round. And he's caught the wall, but from what I can tell, it looks like the car is fully intact. So, has to hit it very gently. You know what these cars like, particularly the front wings. Very easy to lose an end plate or something. So, it does appear at the moment, no offence to him, but it does appear at the moment that Stern may be holding the guys behind him up. So, that may give Pivot the opportunity to catch back onto the pack as quick as possible. So we're kind of separated a little bit, so the top three... Hang on, what am I doing? Let's go back to that. Now again, McLaren, who surely had DRS actually this lap, but wasn't close enough on that occasion. As, oh, we've lost one. The rough. Puffy's round as well. I assume that's the rough there. And it's the same place, isn't it? It's turn 4. Always a nightmare. In fact, it's not turn 4 that's the nightmare. It's turn 3. Because you catch the inside curve and you're spinning. Right round, baby. Right round. So, is there going to be any sudden changes to hard tyres? Do they fancy that this could go to the end from here? With no more safety cars, because if they do, switching to the hard tyres surely would be the right thing to do. It is early, so it's a lot of laps for the hards to do, but definitely possible. That's true, Papa, actually, isn't it? That's, yeah. I mean, we're on, it is equal performance this evening, so all the same, but no, you're right. Here they come then. I think it was guaranteed Stolen Milk was going to, because he'd gone to Sauce after pitting at the end of lap 1, so I think he was always going to be pitting. And on go the hards, Sternface as well. RTT Bear as well. Still 5 medium tire starters have opted to carry on To say it is early. There's no doubt about that. It's 29 laps to go. That is a long stint to ask the hards to do, but they will do it. The hards. There ain't many tracks that the hards wouldn't actually be able to do a full race at. To be honest, it's oh, pivot! Don't do that. Heart was zooming by for a moment there. When the safety car's out and I'm watching you. that's what it is. Perhaps a little light comes on the dashboard when we're watching their cockpit cam, and he saw it and got a bit excited. So, serious point. I don't think that's caused him any damage. He had a little touch with a barrier, a little kiss, really. But yeah, I don't think that's actually caused him any issues. Ooh, little dummy there. I thought that was the Merc coming in then. So Mercedes could have reacted. ACX could have reacted. He could have said, "Look, Shark and Tommy are going to do what they don't. So if they don't come in, I'm going to come in." He could have done that. He hasn't. But it's a way of trying to win the race is to go opposite to who appear to be your main rivals, at least at the moment. Definitely pop up. So we've lost Rough. It's that corner, it's that turn 3, isn't it? It's an absolute nightmare right there. The unfortunate thing as well about turn 3, it's such a pain, and you touch the curb. I'm not even sure you have to touch the curb all the time. If you run a high front wing, you're at risk of just spinning it yourself, I think. But it's also one of the most likely places you're going to see side-to-side action, because people get side-to-side up into turn 1, and then they remain side-by-side in all the way through into turn 4 and the exit of turn 4. So when you're trying to fit, it's a nightmare just doing it on your own, and then when another driver decides to drive alongside you as well. To be honest, maybe it's my age, but I'm kind of a fan of. I tend to be the one that backs out. I'm not going to lie. Finishing the race and picking up points is much more important than keeping one position, just because I'm too proud to give it up. So that's the way I look at things. Here they come then. Let's go again. And Shark does go. Again. Mercedes gets the run. So ACX gets the run on Tommy. He has a clever way of restarting on a safety car restart, doesn't he? But we're going to be side by side here. As Tommy has the inside of turn 4 and takes the lead. Oh, and that's stern face out, and it's the same place again. It's turn 3 into 4. Corner has got so much to answer for. It's off the restart, and some really nice racing at the front as Tommy does take the lead off of Shark B. ACX again got that incredible run off of the restart, but somehow again ends up still stuck in the same place. Sunley right on the back of him as well in the McLaren. So there we go. So Tommy is showing little signs here that he might have the pace to be able to gap the two behind. The initial getting past and into the lead is clearly a problem. It's the problem that Shark B has is he's having to defend at the moment from ACX really quite strongly, which is only going to help and aid Tommy B to carry on and get away. That's it, Shaz. Might be lucky to finish with a podium at this rate. But, oh, we got a safety car. Oh, we've lost another one. That's your fault, Shaz. You typed that and another one's disappeared. We've lost stolen milk now with the other Ferrari. And that is another full safety car. That is on you, that one, Shaz. That's your fault, that one. So 13 starters. We're down to 7. Still running at the moment. At the moment, it's survival of the fittest. And if you didn't change the hards last time, surely you'll change this time. Poor old Sun Lee that started on the hards. Stuff. If there's no safety cars, starting on the hards is the way to go, and he's probably right. But lap 11, and we are onto safety car number 3 already. So those top 3 do all go to the hard tyre, or they're all in the pits. I assume they're all going to the hard tyre. Marty T. Bear takes P3. That is where he's genuinely running. Pivot stays out on the mediums. A bit surprised at that one. So not much else that Stanley can do. I guess if he's got 2 sets of mediums, he could come in for mediums and do a double medium stint. But not convinced that would really be beneficial over what he's doing already. So. It should be a relatively short safety car. We'll do another lap after this one, I'm sure. Coffee. Need it, I think. They're all caught up, but I've got a feeling that the safety car will have to do another lap. I think it's always got to do 2 full laps. Unless it's right at the end of the race, and then it can do just a 1. But so, what about pivots in? Okay, pivots in. Kind of expected that. Well, I wasn't sure because. I thought he'd pit the first lap, but I suppose ultimately, actually, because he was at the back in a way and catching up, wasn't he? So I guess ultimately it's not really made any difference to him. He's probably still in the same place that he would have been if he'd have pitted immediately, but he's now done 1 lap less under the safety car. So yeah, I guess that does make sense for pivot. He's probably played that exactly right. And, but a length for stint on the hards, that. I mean, 1 lap under a safety car on hard tyres is never going to take much out of them, so, you know, don't read too much into it, but the length for the stint they may have to do on the hard tyres, it may, you know, I guess every little helps. Yeah, I'd say about that, Shaz, to be fair. So I'm sure the game says 15 on mediums, 21 on hards. I'm sure that's what it recommends to you. But I have seen people do sort of 17 on the mediums, 18. So it's not incredibly high wear. But from what I've noticed in the races I've done recently, it's around about lap 10 or 11 that the mediums start losing their pace. Now, obviously, they would have done a lot of laps under safety car for pivot, but we're getting ready to go. McLaren just needs to hold off a bit. The safety car's nowhere near the pit lane. It's just going in there. Well, I'm really glad to say the game didn't hold the leader up because that must have been pretty close, you know. As Sunrise then holds on to the lead. Marty T. Bear is battling with Tommy for P2. And into P2 he goes. And we've lost another driver. ACX has lost it on the penultimate corner going into the final corner. on the safety car restart. So we've lost ACX now, and we're down to 6. Less than half the drivers remaining, more than half the race to go. And honestly, at the moment, the only driver you wouldn't fancy winning this race from here at the moment would probably be Sunley. And I know he's leading the race, and you know, I don't want to sound like I'm being mean to him, but obviously the fact that he's still got to make a pit stop really make it very difficult for him to win this race. Yeah, no, Shaz, not your fault this time. Obviously, again, a reminder to any drivers that may be listening, it's if you are involved in an incident, do please clip it and report it. Don't call other drivers out. Discord. So, stands right now, we've still got a good race on our hands, because that's a T-Bear right on the back of Sunley, and he's under attack here himself, actually, from Tommy, who's at the inside there. It's been a bit of surprise there. Oh, Pivot's left the session. I can't invite him, guys. He's on PC. There's nothing I can do because I can't. My EA Friends doesn't work, so I can't invite PC or PlayStation users. I can only do Xbox, I'm afraid. So Tommy into P2. And DRS is once again enabled. Hopefully Pivot can get back in. I'm just not sure how he's going to be able to, because they're all Xbox users, all the rest. Unless one of them can hear me and they can take a moment to invite him. So at the moment, the top 3 staying very close. They're just creating a bit of a gap now to Marty T-Bear. He's obviously pitted under the previous safety car, so he's done a few more laps on his hard tyres. And obviously, Pivot's dropping behind, but that's because he's disconnected. So Papa, if you're still out there, not good for the ERC guys. Oh, Marty T-Bear gets out of shape. There goes Puffbeat. And that's what I was saying, that even the outside curve on that corner can be a bit iffy. And that's why, because it does like to try and throw you across. So, as my apologies, I moved off it and now Tony has taken the lead. Obviously, Sunley is going to be going into the laps now where the hard tyres will be not by any means gone or anything. They're not going to be going over the cliff or anything like that. They'll still be in reasonably good shape, but just not quite as young as they once were. And he's probably had the message from the engineer saying that we should start feeling aware and all that sort of thing. Oh, and there's the... Oh, was that? Or was that contact? That was so quick in going past after, I wonder if that was maybe a contact. I didn't hear anything, I must admit. Usually you can hear a bang or something. Maybe it was just a spin. Shark be through, and he's got 2.7 seconds to catch up on Tommy, but he's got a penalty as well. He'll have to get up the road, but Puffbeat then, can he get a run? DRS will open. Goes to the inside for turn 1. It's slightly alongside, but decides by himself that it wasn't far enough alongside to actually warrant the move. So backs out. if it's not gone back. So sensible there from Puffy. I think Sunley knew he was coming, so I think he'd have been alright to make the move, but because I think Sunley knew he was coming, he was going to leave room, but I think sensible from Puffy that he's not risked it. Ultimately for Puffy, he knows that when Sunley comes into the pits, probably in the next 3 to 4 laps, he's going to get that place in a way, but obviously it does appear that he's been held up, and Marty T. Bear is managing to get onto the back of us here. Gap between Shark B and Sun Lee is still shown as 3 seconds, but that it's just dropped down to 1.5. That makes more sense. I was going to say that car looks a lot closer than 3 seconds, and indeed it is. Yeah, I don't know if it's coming through on stream, but I'm getting a bit of lag on the game. Hopefully I don't get kicked again, but could be what we're leading up to. We are coming up to the point where suddenly in his mind is going to be saying it's coming up to time to pit. It's obviously he would want a safety car to do it because everybody else has had one to make their pit stops, but just the 6 drivers left, well, 5 drivers because Pivot, I believe, yeah, still hasn't managed to get back in. Not much lag on your side, that's alright then, as long as it's not affecting the stream, that's okay, Papa. Thanks for letting me know, mate. So... oh, Sharkby's into the pits. Well, presumably, he must need a new front wing. Does indeed. New front wing going on. Oh, what a nightmare for him. He's gone onto the medium tyre, which will obviously get him to the end from here. But the new front wing goes on. That is going to cost him a lot of time. So I think, in all fairness, he's going to be fighting with Sunley. That may, really, that should mean that Sunley comes in this lap. Obviously, Shark B had to put a new wing on, so that pit stop would have been quite long. And ultimately, he should get out ahead as long as he pits this lap. He doesn't want to leave it too long because Shark B on fresh mediums is going to be considerably quick compared to the rest of the field. Probably, yeah, I'm just looking at the times actually. He's got a good 30-second lead over Shark B, so he could probably go one or two more laps, but again, probably be better off just pitting. So, no, carries on through. So no reaction on that occasion. Pivot is still ghosted. I don't think that's going to change. I'm sorry, Pivot, but I don't know of any way that we can get you in because I can't do it, and all the drivers on Xbox, so you can't just join. But I guess it's the problem with crossplay, isn't it? So, unfortunately, that pit stop from Shark B has meant that's actually led to the field being really spaced out now. So, the gap at the front is 5.7 seconds between Tommy and Puffy. Sunley a couple of seconds behind that and is going to pit. Then there's 8 seconds to Marty T. Bear. And that's a gap between Sunley and Shark B at the moment. Yeah, it's about 28.5 seconds, so it's starting to come down. Yeah, that's what I said, Pivot. I'm sorry, I can't invite you back because my EA Friends doesn't work. So, otherwise I would, buddy, but just doesn't work. So, Right, okay. So, as I say, we're just spacing out a little bit. Sort of a commentator's nightmare right now because it's... Sharkbait sets fastest lap. So again, just to look at that gap, 8:11, 20. Yeah, it's come down another 2 seconds already. It's 26.3, so it's over 2 seconds it's come down. Suddenly really needs to pit. He's going too far for me. It's allowing Sharkbait to get a lot closer than he needs to be, because that really is who he's fighting. But I think Sunley is maybe trying to hold out for a safety car. But down to 6 drivers, the likelihood of a safety car is very, very low now. Very, very low. I'm touching wood, by the way, just so everybody knows. It's not my fault. It happens. I'm just trying to think if anything else might develop other than the obvious Sunley pitting. So, I'm not sure exactly how long a pit stop is here. I know it's not particularly long, but at the same time, I don't think it's like one of the shortest ones. I don't think it's like 18 seconds or anything. I think it is in the 20s, so I've got a feeling it's about 22, 23 seconds roughly. So at the moment, 12.3, about 24.5 seconds to gap now to Sharkbait. So we're pretty much on what means Sharkbait's going to come out pretty much on top of, or Sunley will come out pretty much on top of Sharkbait, but of course he's got to heat his tyres up when he gets out the pits, so he's going to be vulnerable, and he's going around again, so that to me is going to say that he's definitely going to fall behind Sharkbait when he pits now. 13, 20. Yeah, 23.5 seconds by the time Sharkbait does whatever time he does on this lap. For me, Sunley will be behind now when he pits. My only faults now are that Sunley is said, right, I'm going to keep pushing this out, and either a safety car is going to come out that I can pit under, or I'll switch to softs. That's the only thing I can think that he's doing. For me, if he'd have pitted straight away after Sharkbait had, I don't think there'd even be a battle between them. I think the gap would have been a good 8-9 seconds. I guess we want the battle, so it's better for us that he's carrying on. So I've gone to Tommy now. So I'll use this time that we got left now really to take a look at each driver. Perhaps we can go on board and see how they're driving. Just keeping an eye on the track map there, and suddenly has gone through again. And the gap's under 20 seconds now. So, Hilly, oh god, I'm in trouble. I said in the chat that I was cheating on you tonight. It's not my fault you cancelled it, so you can go out with your girlfriend. I was bored, so my friend Sierra spoke to TTM and they said they could come and do their comms for tonight. Of course it's only tonight, I have told them that. Yeah, I mentioned at the start, Pivot, that it was... I noticed in Discord that it was accidentally been put on standard instead of reduced, and unfortunately there's plenty of tracks throughout the calendar where it may not have made much difference, but Zandvoort, even on reduced, you tend to get 1 or 2 safety cars, probably more than often 2. So it explains why we've had 3, despite just the 13 drivers. But having said that, mate, all the crashes that cause safety cars have warranted a safety car, and finally Sunrise is in, and there is Sharkbait. So, as I said, if we'd have pitted back when Sharkbait did, Sharkbait would have been maybe crossing the start-finish line now. It's going to try with Softs, I guess, to get back past and maybe take the fastest lap in the process, but if it takes the fastest lap but doesn't gain the place, then that's ultimately won't be as good to him as having the place would have been. Something tells me, well, from what we've seen, Sharkbait seems to be a pretty decent racer as well, so he's good pace, so I don't think it's going to be easy to catch and pass, mate. Oh, okay, Pivot, yeah, it's alright, mate, it's one of those things. If we hadn't have had one, you'd have probably been saying, oh, maybe we should just have it on that every race. But it is what it is, it's not it's not a big issue. Oh, he's always going to go to Softs there, Shaz. That's fine. Softs will get him to the end from here, and he's. So I'm pretty sure he's got in his mind about the fastest laps. So let's go to him. Actually, we can see his times. What is the fastest lap at the moment? Can we have a look? I know there is a way to have a look. It's it is Sharkbait at the moment on a 1:14.2. Sun Lee's current fastest is 1:15.2, so he's got to improve by 1 second and half a tenth. So if we say 1.1, and he's just over 2 tenths up in sector 1. if he takes the fastest lap, he should keep it to the end. I don't think anybody at the moment has enough of a gap to the car behind them to be able to pit. So. That's the end of sector 2 now, and there's 9 tenths, I would think. It's fresh sauce with low fuel. I think it's a foregone conclusion, just as long as there's no mistakes. So ahead to the line then, takes the shortest road to the line, and does take the fastest lap by about a tenth and a half, so doesn't take it by a long way. But I think that's good enough. I can't see the only other one with a chance that could beat it would be Sharkbait to come back if he had a load of ERS, but he hasn't, so I think that is pretty much done then. The fastest lap. So I don't think anybody's got the gap, have they? So interval. No, nobody's got a gap to pit. But shows you the sort of rate though that Sharkbait is lapping, because he's still over 3 seconds ahead. Well, 3.7 as you can see there, 3.7, 3.8. The gap's not really changed, despite the fact that Sunlee's just put the fastest lap of the race in. The gap's not really moved, so Sharkbait clearly lapping at a fair rate of knots, and putting in the fastest lap of the race like that for Sunlee will take it out of Softs quite a bit. So my prediction here, Shaz, I think, quite honestly, is that Sunlee's is pitted and will probably take the fastest lap, but I don't think these Softs will last or will hold on long enough to catch and overtake Sharkbait. So seems to be the feature of the Softs, unless it is a late safety car. They're relatively useless this season, this year on this year's game. And I must admit, in real life, this was the first time I've not watched Formula 1 throughout the season, so I don't know whether the Softs were really this bad or this useless in real life or not, but in the game they certainly are. I know it's... What? Do you know it's an I and not an L? What, on Sunley? Yeah, Sunley. You know it's an... Oh, sorry, you know it's an... No, that's an L. It's got to be an L, Pibba. It's got to be an L. It can't be an I. If it's an I really don't know how to say it. Unless it's just Sunny. Sunny. Oh well. Have I made him Chinese or something then? Or Korean, wasn't it actually, Lee? So Sun Lee made in Korean. Oh dear. We really are spaced out for the last 6 laps, so... Yeah, that's right, Shaz. Sauce, yeah, easily I'd imagine 5 or 6% of lap around here. Oh, he's the owner of the server, is he? Sun E. Okay, Sunny. Oh, he's just got... Hang on. What's happened here? Mighty Sea Bear's pitted. Okay, Pivot, I've got to ask, do they get some sort of special prize for the fastest lap? Because if they don't, I do not understand why Mighty Sea Bear's just pitted. I know he pitted early for the Hearts, but they had seen him through. He didn't need to pit. So, I don't know. Do they get a Mars bar or something for the fastest lap? Curly whirly. I guess we'll go to Marty when he goes to the next lap then, and we'll do exactly the same again, I guess. So he would need to improve by 1 point, and now Puffy's pitted. But Puffy, of course, has got the gap, hasn't he? Has he? Well, actually, box. It's going to be pretty tight, isn't it, to Sharpie, I'd imagine. Sharp on his way down. Puffy, they're going to be pretty level. Ah, never. I can't believe at this late point they're giving up places. So it's just a single point. So they are losing points by giving up places to try and do the fastest lap. Well, work that one out. Only got 10 minutes. I don't understand that at all. Unless it's just a fun factor, I guess, of trying to do it. So we've got a little competition here. Mighty T-Bear is going to be first to try and do it. He's 4 attempts up, as I say. Needs to improve by 1.1. That would put him 2 thousandths ahead of Sunny. And you won't get... No, I didn't think you would, Pivot, being AI too long. If it was later in the race it happened, then I guess you probably would, but it's early on. So I just missed his second sector then. It's showing purple on the track map, so I assume he's still improving. Across the line then, and improves by nearly 1.7, much quicker fastest lap. So let's go to Puffby then. So from here, Puffby would need to improve 1.5 seconds, but of course he's stuck on the back of Sharkbait. So unless he could get past Sharkbait, it ain't gonna happen. Goodness no. Make me sound like a fug there, Papa. Well, yeah, 3 laps to go. That is not an 8. It bloody is. Sorry, I just got closer to the TV screen. It is. I said that earlier on and somebody else told me it was Sharpie. I'm sure they did. Unbelievable. Yeah, you're probably right, Pivot. Less. Usually just going Shark, okay. Why can't people just spell things normally? Why is the A got to be a 4? And the K a Q? Have a word. Please, Pivot, have a word. Sort them out. He's trying to spell. It's youngsters, isn't it? I bet he's a youngster. At the moment, he's managing to hold Puffy off. Well, we know the best opportunity here is down into turn 1. It's almost the only opportunity. There's very few other opportunities around the track. There might be 1 or 2 places if you're really side by side. But that's the problem for Puffy at the moment. His Shark just seems to get away slightly coming out the final corner. And as you see, Puffy just cannot quite get alongside in turn 1. If we could get properly side by side and have the outside line, that would actually be kind of ideal, because the outside line provides better traction out of turn 1, and it also gives you the inside of turns 2 and 4. So ultimately, if he can get alongside, you feel that he could make the move stick. But to say, for whatever reason, Shark seems to really be able to get out of that final corner a little bit better. I did mention earlier on, and you can see here, despite having, it's still basically fresh sauce. There's no doubt that Puffy is struggling a bit around through the sort of heavy cornering parts of the track. So I did mention earlier on when he made an overtake, I think it was on Sternface right at the start, he seems to be running a very low downforce. He's got to run here. He's got to run. He's got it. Oh, that is a massive dive for defence from Shark, but Puffy really, really aware there. I think yeah. Quite honestly, I think Shark should give that place, because he's completely outbreaks himself into turn 1 while trying to defend. Luckily, Puffy was aware of it. It is the final lap, and they're going to battle as best they can, as hard as they can. Yeah, I had that feeling, Pivot. He seemed quick earlier on. Oh, my apologies to Tommy. I've completely forgotten about him. Tommy crosses the line and wins Zandvoort here in Holland. And we're going to get a little run to the line here. Now Shark will cross the line P2. Will he? Will he? Yes, he will. Puffy P3. Well, Puffy didn't need to pit, and I think ultimately that's cost him P2. Sonny crosses the line for P4. Marty T Bear P5 with fastest lap. Pivot's AI will finish P6, but unfortunately too early in the race for him to be classified. So the game gives driver of the day to Marty T Bear. That's just pretty much basically decides it by who gained the most places. Let them have their little moment on the podium. Yeah, thanks, Papa. Speak soon, mate. And look forward to Monaco tomorrow night. Ugh. Actually, tomorrow night's not so bad. It's Thursday night when I do the 100% around Monaco. Oh my goodness me. Yes, Pivot, you do as well. Yes, mate, I'll do standing. I'll get the results and I'll scroll through the incidents as well, just in case stewards need them. um, so just to confirm, yeah, so Marty T. Bear got the fastest lap there. That's all the standings on the one page, so you've got all that. And I'll just go race director. There's a pit stop. It's not you really need that for any reason. Well, it's tyres actually, wasn't it? I'll just quickly scroll through that. Not very many actually, to be fair. For a 50% race, that's really low. So not too bad at all. But ultimately, Tommy has dominated. Zandvoort really close in the early stages of the race, but it's a kind of a tale of two halves. The race, it was first half was a bit, well, it was full of safety cars, wasn't it? Let's be honest. Second half, we didn't have any safety cars, so you know it's just the way it is. Say the Zandvoort does love a safety car or two. There's no doubt about that. So I think, quite honestly, Pivot, I think that probably would have happened even if it was set to reduced, if I'm honest with you, because I do think if you do look back at the stream and you see the incidents, they are so that cars are stuck in the middle of the track and stuff. And even on reduced, it should bring out a safety car for that. So, yeah. Shaz, 100% Monaco sounds mega, but I'm one of them weirdos that likes Monaco. It's growing on me by the fact that the last two races I've done there, Shaz, I've actually managed to finish pretty well for me. It's growing on me in that sense, but I have to be honest, I did 50% last night, I got 50% tomorrow, and then the 100% on Thursday. Now I'm a pad player, and after the 50% last night, I have to be honest, my hands were absolutely killing me, so I'm not even 100% sure I'll be able to complete a 100% race, but I'll give it a go. It's just continuous movement all the time. There's no straights to really sort of give you a respite on Monaco. So yeah. Um, in a way, it's not about that tonight. So in a way, thank you very much TTM for letting me come and do a guest star for comms on Tier 3. Thanks to the Tier 3 drivers that provided the racing tonight. Let's say just a story of 2 hours. The safety cars in the first half and the no safety cars in the second half. But all in all, some of the battles were fun, and quali was fun as well. Quali was very tight, so that was good fun as well. But yeah, thank you very much to CTM, and I'll be about to do any others that I can in future. It's just I kind of booked up, but I will try and help out as and where I can, certainly. Thanks to everybody that's watched live. Thanks to everybody that watches back at a later point. I really appreciate it, guys. The leagues that I do really appreciate it. So thank you to all of you. Have a lovely what's left of your evening and a safe week. And Pivot, I'll see you tomorrow night. Good night. God bless. See you soon.